Hey there, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if it is your first time here. My name is Erin, and today's video is a very exciting unboxing, sort of. Let me just tell you what's going on. I was gifted a needle sharp box from a friend, not from Needle Sharp. She had ordered it, decided it wasn't something she was ever really going to make, and so she gave me all of it. Now, in needle sharp boxes, you get all of the fabric you need and all of the notions and a pattern. So then all you have to do is execute. It comes with everything. I then obviously went on to Needle Sharp. Haven't made that yet. Went on Needle Sharp and was like, I want to subscribe to this. This is amazing. I want to order these boxes. But then I just looked around at all of the fabric and all of the patterns I have and thought about all of the fabric and pattern pairings that have been in my brain, some for a very long time, and decided that what I should do instead is make myself boxes. I have like 6 of these, 7 of these. I'm gonna reuse the boxes. I'm not just like stealing from the post office. I went through my patterns and my fabric and just picked out 6 pairings that I've been thinking about for a long time. And then my 7th box is the actual needle sharp box that my friend sent me. So that's kind of the idea behind it, is I, instead of spending more money and adding more to my stash, am trying to use up from my stash, but in a fun way. Besides just putting the fabric and the pattern in the box, I also went through and got the notions necessary for each of these patterns. I probably forgot one thing here or there because I was trying to do 7 at one time, but I went through all of the envelopes or the PDFs, whichever I was doing, and I got like elastic buttons. I don't think any had zippers, but if they had zippers, you know, all of the notions. I also got matching thread, so I didn't want to have to try to find any matching thread, even if it was white, even if it was black. I put it in the box. And so I made sure everything had notions already. And then my husband picked out notions to add to the box. This was more inspired by Think Pink, because usually you get, from the unboxings I've seen, usually you get like fun stuff in there in addition to your fabric. So we went on a little morning date to my local quilt shop one day, and I had to get some like actual fabric to finish a quilt for him, and he shopped on the notions wall and got notions for every box. So that, I don't know what it is. He also put them in the boxes, so I don't know what they are. I don't know where they are. I actually know what one thing is, because I had one request for him. I wanted a hot hemmer, but other than that, he picked the other 6 and he put them in the boxes himself. So I don't know where that hot hemmer is, but I did that. And then I decided to also add a little treat for myself. So there's like a bottle of nail polish, a chapstick, a face mask, stuff like that in there too, just for fun. So like, yeah, we put some money into it with the notion and the fun little thing, but I'm not adding more to my stash, and it's not as expensive as getting a new subscription box. And this just made it really, really fun to use stuff from my stash. This first box is, I'll call it my April box. It's April 18th. I meant to open it earlier in the month, but we are here now. And I'm hoping to do, the plan is to do one a month. And I do not get to open the next one until the next month, because I just thought this would be a really, really fun way to get some of those like big, not big projects, but projects done that I've been thinking about nonstop, but always feel like, ugh, not yet. Or I know I'm gonna have to do a toile. A lot of these I do think I'm gonna have to do a toile for. Just kind of like kick myself in the butt to do it. So hopefully that'll work. Let's open this first box. I don't know. What do I got first? What a guy. He put the hot hemmer in the very first box because he knew I wanted it. Ugh, what a guy. So yeah, this is a hot ruler, which means you can press on it, which means you can just fold the hem over and press. It should be very easy. So done. Hot hemmer. Good job, Bubby. Putting it right in my first one. Now, I want to try and get like, and I gave myself Patchology Perk Up Energizing Tea Infused Aromatherapy Eye Gels. Nice. I've used these before, not this specific one, but like the under eye gels, and they do feel really nice. I don't think they visually do anything for my face, probably because I don't use them regularly. I don't know, but they do feel really good. So, okay. I don't want to feel like any notions. I don't know why I'm closing my eye. I can't see inside. Do I have notions in here? Ah, I have thread. Navy. I think I know what this is. Now here's the thing. I put these together in February. It's April. So I still pretty much remember what's in most of them. But by the time I hit the last couple boxes, I will have totally forgotten. I almost guarantee it. So navy. I think I know what this is. I think it's fabric from Fabric and Flow. It is. I got this in their Black Friday sale. It's a rayon. Look how pretty it is. I don't remember all the stats on it, but I will put those below. Like I said, it is a rayon, maybe rayon challis. Now, because this has like the gold flecks and it's navy and stuff, this is probably not like seasonally appropriate, to be honest, because it's April, but I think, and really it's this like rusty color makes me feel like it's more fall winter, but I think in the evening it could be fine, even in the summer and stuff. And I live in the South, so even during our fall and winter, especially our fall, it's still very hot, so this will work then. I was between two patterns, one big 4 pattern and then the Love Notions ballad blouse, and I want to say I ended up going with the ballad because I found perfect buttons for this, or I had perfect buttons for it. Yep, the ballad. Printed from Tape Free Patterns, where I get all my PDF patterns printed. I do have a discount code for them below. Love, love, love the company. Yeah, ballad blouse. I'm gonna make a toile of this because I've made the Love Notions Rhapsody blouse, and it has a similar like yoke and then gathering situation. The ballad has, I think, gathering or shirring, and I want to do the shirring option probably, but the Rhapsody blouse I wore it recently, and it is a bit tight across the back. It was what I made it, and I think I've gained some weight, so it's like tight across the back and in the arm size, so I want to make a toile first. And I should, like I said, I should put buttons. Oh yeah, there's the Ziploc. Okay, these came from another friend, and they are just, I thought, the perfect color. It was like a simplicity blouse or something that I was also thinking about, didn't require buttons. And I was like, oh, but I found these and they're perfect. It's hard to obviously hold them up. Oh, not in this box. I did not think that through. I put needles, like specialty needles, in some of the boxes. Because like I do have a swimsuit fabric in here, so, and things like that. I think I put needles in. I did not put needles in this one, I don't think. No. Because at some point it would get redundant, right? There's 5 needles in a pack. I didn't need to put a brand new pack of 5 needles in everything when it's all staying here in the sewing room. So, okay, I'm excited. I need to double check all the options for the ballad. I know there's a flutter sleeve, and I really like flutter sleeves. And like I said, like I have said probably a million times before, I live in the South. So even if I make this to wear primarily like in the evening on a date night or in like the fall and winter, flutter sleeves are like fine temperature wise. It doesn't get cold for very long or very much here. So I think okay, so I will work on getting this made up, probably not anytime soon because I have like a lot of life stuff going on. The reason I had to open this box was because I need to put stuff in it to mail it, actually. So I'm gonna go get this box put together, and then I will be working on this hopefully soon. But I will come back with my completed ballad blouse. Okay, see you guys soon. This is my wearable toile. I'll take some clips of the whole thing in a moment. I made it out of an airflow fabric from Raspberry Creek Fabrics. I don't usually make wearable toiles, but I wanted to wear this fabric and see how I like it. The print I'm not like wild about. I don't dislike it. It's like kind of Dalmatian-y to me. So I feel a little bit like Cruella de Vil, but Emma Stone Cruella de Vil, not Glenn Close. Like, if that makes a difference. So I do really like it. The fabric was nice to work with and has good flow and drape and does seem to be very breathable, which is what I wanted to like test out. I wanted to see if it was as breathable as it's supposed to be. I did the gathered view for the actual version. I want to do the shirred view. Hey, kiddo. I'm going to do the shirred view, so hopefully that won't change how things fit too much. The two adjustments I want to make are a little bit of a narrow shoulder adjustment because this comes out kind of far, like my shoulder's here, and that comes out pretty far. So I want to bring that in a little bit, and then I did a large and then graded to an extra large at the hips based on the body measurements. Not necessary. I'll put a picture here showing that like I really did not need to do that. So I'll probably just do a straight large for everything, but then with that little bit of a narrow shoulder adjustment. I was worried about how it would feel because my Rhapsody blouse is a large, and I like it. I can feel the fabric straining when I reach and stuff, but I do not have that issue with this. I don't know if it's because I did flutter sleeves. I don't think so. I think it's just maybe a larger arm size, and also probably because this comes out so much further, right? So I'll have to see how that'll change if I do a narrow shoulder adjustment. But overall, I like it. It was a fun sew. I just did black buttons. And yeah, I did not line it. It's a pretty sheer seaming fabric, but I'm wearing a nude to me bra underneath and it seems fine. And then for the yoke, I did just a white,
falling down.
That's okay. I did just a white airflow fabric because I didn't want you to see like the double spots through. This, you can't really see it on here because of the interfacing, but even with that, you can kind of see the shadow of the other dots behind it. So I didn't want to have like shadow dots on my back for the yoke, so I just did the white. I wish it was cream just so it would look a little bit like better. This is like bone white compared to cream, but it doesn't matter. It's a wearable toile. Yeah, I did French seams on everything, including the arm side. I'm so annoyed that I did not make the seam allowance bigger on the arm side. It's 3/8 of an inch. All the other like main construction seams are 1/2 inch so that you can do French seams. And on this blouse and the Rhapsody, they don't give you that seam allowance for the arm side. And I don't know why. Like, do they not believe that we can handle French seaming and arm side? Do they want to take that option away from us? Like, just make this one also 1/2 inch, please. So I made it work with the 3/8 of an inch. But I am going to add just a little bit more when I do the pieces on my real version so that I can French seam without it being quite so sketchy. But yeah, it's all nice and enclosed and French seamed and lovely. And I've really enjoyed wearing this today. Oh, the other modification I'm going to do. So I'm going to make it just a little bit shorter. I think I'm going to take like 1 inch out of the length. It's a little long for my preference. And I don't want to take too much out and make it too short because the side seams does curve up at the side seams. So I don't want it to be like super high like up here, but I think like 1 inch or 1.5 inches will bring it up just a little bit more for my preference. So I will check in with you guys when I make my legit version. As you can see, it's done. Much later than expected, but it is done. Sorry, please ignore the mess that is my sewing table. I did the shirring. I did take 1/2 inch off of the length, and I did a straight size large. So when I went to trace out the pattern pieces from being a large graded to an extra large, which is what my toile was, I noticed that by making it just a large, that took about 1/2 inch off of the length anyway. So I took an extra 1/2 inch, meaning this is about 1 inch shorter than the toile was, and I'm really happy with the length. I did the flutter sleeves. Everything else is the same except I did the shirring. I did have some issues figuring out shirring, but once I realized what the problem was, it was absolutely fine. And I have a clip to insert right now showing you what the issue was and what the solution was. I have been doing some troubleshooting with shirring because it was not working for me, and I figured it out, and I figured out what the issue was. Now, the solution, I'm not gonna take credit for figuring it out magically on my own. I remembered that Jen, who is a pattern drafter for Styla, I don't know her last name, but she had a pattern come out recently that had a shirred waistband, and she had a bunch of stories on Instagram explaining shirring and some troubleshooting stuff. And I went and watched it, figured out the solution. So let me turn the camera around and show you on my machine what she explained on her stories. And I'll also leave like her Instagram handle down below so you can go watch the stories. But figured out the issue, solved it. I feel so successful, and I'm ready to shirr my panel and finally get this ballad made up. Okay, so the bobbin. This piece, the tail, has to go through the tension discs. Let me see if I can show you better. Has to go through the tension disc of the bobbin. What was happening all the other times I tried to shirr is that the thread would get pulled up and skip those discs. Like, it wouldn't go in there. I wasn't paying enough attention and making sure it went through there. I think because this is a little thicker and it's a little different than just like here, you know, your standard polyester thread, it was skipping that or not getting snug enough and was coming out. So basically there was no bobbin tension. The bobbin thread was just being pulled through without any tension on it. Once I paid more attention and made sure it got into those two little discs, perfect. Didn't have to mess with the needle tension at all, just lengthened the stitch length a little bit as per the Love Notions pattern instructions, and I am hopefully off to the races. I'm gonna rewind with some black. I didn't want to waste all my black elastic thread practicing, but now that I think I've figured it out, I'm gonna switch to black and move on with this pattern. So thank goodness for Jen and her stories. She showed this exact same thing in her baby lock, and I have a FOF. So I do think that is something that's probably pretty common, especially for these drop-in bobbins now that have, you know, this little path for you to thread it. I bet that is an issue happening to a lot of us with shirring that we are not aware of, is it's just not going into that little tension disc area of the bobbin case. So hopefully that helps someone. Hopefully that little clip will help some of you in the future if you're having issues with your shirring, because I did some like quick Googling of troubleshooting shirring when it wasn't working for me, and that did not come up in anything, probably because it's very obvious, right? Like, make sure there's actually tension on the elastic thread and it's going through the right part of your bobbin case. But clearly I didn't come up with it on my own, but maybe that will help some of you in the future when you're trying to figure out shirring. Once I figured that out, the shirring went absolutely fine. It was actually quite fun at first, then it got a little tedious, but I'm really glad I did it and learned how to do it. It doesn't really show up a lot because this is such a busy fabric, but I am still really glad I did it and I really like it. And I think it is a fun detail if you notice that it's going on. Yeah, other than that, this blouse is done. My first personalized, created by me for me Sewscription box is complete, and I will be opening up the second one now, and you will see it in the next video. I have not used the eye mask things yet, but I have used my hot hemmer a ton, not just for this project, but for others that I've worked on in the intervening 2 months since I opened the box. Really like the hot hemmer. I guess I should do a quick pattern review too. So this is the Love Notions Ballad. It's a good pattern. Everything fit together really well. I like how it's all finished. I think it's really flattering. My only issue is the same issue that I have with the Rhapsody pattern, also Love Notions pattern, is that they give you the seam allowance and instructions. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a scratchy throat, if you didn't notice that. They give you the seam allowance and the instructions to do French seams on the side seams and the underarms, but not the arm side. The yoke is enclosed with the burrito method. For the gathered view, that is all enclosed. For the shirred view, you do end up with a seam right here where you insert that shirred panel, but whatever. I feel like if you do French seam, if you give seam allowance and instructions for French seams of the underarms and the side seams, like, why not also do it for the arm side? Why not also give that seam allowance? Because so yeah, I wish they had done that. I did not do French seams on this one. I did French seams on my toile. Sorry, I should probably not be recording this. I'm just so excited. I French seamed the toile. I did not French seam this one because I knew I wouldn't have an enclosed seam here. You could do like a lining panel for it, but I decided to just serge everything and finish my seams that way. I kind of wish I had been more full up and done French seams for the arm side, but it's fine. I love these sleeves. Really, really happy with the flutter sleeves. I love flutter sleeves. And I just think this is a very flattering blouse because the weight of the placket like leads it to fall between my cleavage. So I don't have like mono boob at all, which is nice. And it has a really flattering cut. You can see it nips in at the waist. If you hit that subscribe button, if you are not already subscribed and you want to see future versions of my own Sewscription box thing or any other videos from me, thank you and let me know if you are inspired to do this for yourself also, because I have really, really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me, and let me know down in the comments what you thought of this and what you thought of my 2 new ballad blouses.